Welcome to SmartWatch Tips. Today we're taking an in-depth look at the Aoke Z15, which is a smartwatch phone running on the Android operating system. There's a place to put a SIM card, but we're not going to do that. But we will lock it in place. We are going to add in our memory card that we've been using. This is a 32 gigabyte memory card that mounts right there. And we're going to slap in the 600 milliamp battery, which goes right there. Okay, it's all held together with the back that has 4 screws, and we're going to put the back on. And there you go. We have the watch ready to power up. So, let's turn it around so it's facing us. What you have is a USB port on the side, 2 buttons, a home button and a power button, which I'm holding until I see something come on the screen. And there we go, MediaTek, and it's starting to boot up. While we do that, here's a look at where I got this from, the Aoke Z15, $105, and a little bit of information about this watch. It uses the GSM network, so it'll work with AT&T and T-Mobile. It's a smartwatch phone, does not tether to your existing phone very well. It can do it sort of with software, but it's mainly a little bitty phone is what it is. It's a watch with a phone capacity that runs all of the Android apps. It has the Play Store in it, and that's critical to be able to load up all of your apps. I'm leaving it go so you can see how long it takes the first time to boot up, but it has a special setting inside which allows it to have a fast boot. So after its initial boot, and you have that checked off in your settings, it'll boot pretty quickly. It's set to automatically time out quickly unless you go into the developer options and tell it to stay on when it's plugged in to power, which we're going to do. And now it'll stay on. That's one of the things in another video that I cover for all of these Android-based smartwatch phones. You want to go into the developer options and activate that so you can have a longer time on it when you're setting it all up. No SIM card, no service. Okay, but if you put a SIM card in, you have service. This is set up on Wi-Fi, and as you can see, it's already telling me I have 2 new emails and all sorts of goodies because I'm linked under the Wi-Fi. 4 new emails. It's downloading. Let's talk about the user interface to begin with. This is the opening screen. See if I can make it brighter. It hasn't loaded my brightness program. There it goes. It's starting to come up now. You have a lock screen, which you have options to lock this. Mine is in the automatic unlock. If I flap it over this direction, it will open the camera. You can choose what camera, the built-in camera, or I use a better camera, which is an app from the App Store, which gives me a lot more capability. Let's do it just once this time. Just to show you that we have a full 3 or 5 megapixel camera. The jury's out on that. It could be 3 megapixel being interpolated up to 5. There's a little view outside. It's in video mode. The nice thing about this particular camera app is you have lots of different options that you can bring up. I can do video. I can do an HDR type of lots of things. But right now we're going to close out of this. We'll talk cameras a later day because we're still talking about the user interface. And there's our home screen, but we're not going to go there yet. We're going to come back and show you that in addition to swiping to the left to get the camera, you can come up and go to the Google search. Now, I have various different assistants loaded in here, and you can pick which one you want it to use. It's a little slow on the uptake. Let's take Google, because everybody's familiar with that. But we'll talk in another video about all these different assistants that you can use as well. Try to keep it in focus here. And of course it does, once that lights up, respond to the quintessential phraseology, "Okay, Google." Thank you. What time is it in New York City? Come on, Google, this is your time to shine. Show off, show off. Thank you. What time is it in New York City, it says. It seems to be slow right now. Anyway, you've played with Google now, Google Voice, all that stuff. I don't need to belabor it. It's available. Its options work. Right now I'm uploading another video to YouTube while I'm recording this one, so my Wi-Fi might be a little bit busy right now. But nonetheless, we're again showing you the capabilities of the user interface of the Z15 watch. Here's something interesting to note. Look how long it's taking to load the basic interface. This is a drawback to this watch, unfortunately. The layout of the icons is nice. However, once you got a bunch of them in there with folders and whatnot, it takes a while to load. We have one more thing to show you in the user interface. So we're turning it off, turning it back on again. It makes a little click, so I wonder if it's taking a screenshot or doing something strange when it does that. All right, there's our user interface. We slid for camera, we slid up for assistant or Google Voice, and of course we slide normally to the right, and that drops us into our home screen. This is our home page, and it brings us to talk about the Buttonology. There are two buttons on this phone. This one, which is home, and only home, and this one, which is your power. The camera is on the right-hand side, and the screen layout looks like this. You can put 8 different chiclets on the screen and 4 chiclets on the bottom. You scroll across, and I've left the far right one empty so it's easy to do and not accidentally launch your applications. You can load pretty much everything like speed test and Clean Master, Safari on there, all that good stuff. You press the home button and you're back home. Okay, they all work. There's a few apps that don't because they really haven't been designed to work in the screen size, but most of them do. The drawback on this phone in the Buttonology is that there are no other buttons below here to give you the back, the home, and the file listing. That's common on other phones. Without the back button, you're really limited. If a designer has not designed their app well to take advantage of the real estate to give you, for example, in your heading, if you're in settings, you need to be able to touch in the upper left where it says settings and go back one page. If it's not that way and you don't have a back button, the only thing you can do is bail out of the app and try to relaunch it to go back in again. And sometimes you have to literally close out of the app. So it's kind of a problem with this watch. That and the slow speed and the smallness, believe it or not, of all of these little chiclets are things that make me more inclined to go with a different type of a platform. But if you're used to the Apple layout, which is much what this is like, and folders that can have up to 9 individual apps and several pages worth of apps, you got yourself a nice watch here. Again, it uses the GSM. It's supposed to be quad band, but this one only has 2 of the frequencies. But those frequencies do work for AT&T. I've loaded up a SIM card and effectively used this phone. So AT&T, probably T-Mobile, not Verizon, not Sprint, but that's true of all these phones. They're just doing the GSM right now. So you got to be on one of those carriers. You do not tether this really to your existing watch. It's not going to be like those kind of gear wear type, what do you call it, Android Wear, or the Apple Watch that's coming out, where you got to have your cell phone with you. This is a standalone device. The charging is on the left. It's a good capacity battery. You get long life. It's got low sound. It's not very loud, and you don't have much volume control. So I had to load up a separate volume adjustment thing right on the screen to be able to incrementally adjust my volumes. It would be nice if there was a button or some way on the screen, especially on a phone call or playing music, that you could easily bring up volume and adjust it or quickly go into mute. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be that way. So you have to load things like a quick mute button or the volume adjust, just so you can have that kind of access. Okay, so again, it's the Aoke Z15. Little over $100 right now in February 2015. Full Android support. Limitations of not having a back button, soft volume, but otherwise it's a nice layout. It's a good looking phone. It's solid. It's metal. It's got the internals for doing the SIM card and the memory card, and you can expand the memory up to 32 gigabytes. But you got to dedicate that SIM card. It's not an easy one where you can slide it in on the side and take it out and put it back in your phone. So if you're into getting another phone number and data plan and doing it in this kind of a watch, or like me, if you're just going to use it over a Wi-Fi network and let it be on Wi-Fi, then this is a good option for you. The Aoke Z15. It may be other company names. Just look for Z15. And I think you'll be happy what you can find. This is kind of the flagship watch we've been using in our videos for the keyboards and other things, so you're probably familiar with it if you've seen other videos. If you're interested in learning more, we have a lot more to come. It's early in the watch market. Apple hasn't even come out with their watch yet until April, they say. And again, this is February. So please subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll keep pumping out the videos. Alrighty, there you go for the review of the first of our Android-based smartwatch phones called a Standalone. Thanks for watching.